Yeah, yeah, it's no stress. He's got. Okay, welcome to the final day here for the Isso South American Slalom Championships. Obviously, an Ifca event. Like I say, it's the final day. We've had one elimination this morning. The wind dropped a little bit in the middle bit. We've just done obviously the Portuguese TV if you've been tuning in. So now we're going back to the internet. What have we got coming up? We've got two semi-finals. We've then got the women's final, and then obviously the men's final, and then the runners-up final. Man of the moment, Matthias Isaac, he's dominating. He's won every race. And in the women, Salazar is absolutely killing it. She's come all the way from Venezuela and she is not disappointed. She has won every race. She looks fast, she looks on form, and she could be taking home the title. I think we've probably got another couple of eliminations. We're about to kick off with the semi-final. So join us for the live stream. We're going back in the caravan. I was going to have a little wander around, but they've all gone sailing, so it's not going to happen. We're going to go to the caravan, so see you in 2 minutes. Okay, so it sounds like we're live. Sorry, I've just been talking to myself for about 2 minutes, but it sounds like we're live. Let us know where you're watching, who you're rooting for, who are the main players. This is the main player. I think that's Mateusz Isaac, absolutely killing it right now. He has won every race, no joke. And in the women, we have got Salazar. Salazar has come all the way from Venezuela, and she has not disappointed. She has been absolutely flying. She has won every race, a real dominant performance, and I can't see that South American title going anywhere else. Mateusz Isaac, same deal, but there is a massive battle for second place with the Shermanator. Yes, Sherman going against Alessio Botteri, and Botteri and him had a real fight this morning, but in the end it was the Brazilian, the Shermanator, that got that spot. Rafa, what do you know?
Basicamente o mesmo que você, Ben. Matheus voando aí na frente. Nós temos aí uma disputa grande para a segunda posição com o Schurman. O Shermanator está destruindo aí, a regata também está muito bem, com o Alessio que é do Peru. Então, vamos ver o que vem aí pela frente. Ben, back to you, man.
Okay, so yeah, there we go. We've got Elimination 6 is the one we've got coming up. Heat number 1, as you can see, Mateusz Isaac is going to be in that. He is the top ranked rider here, not surprisingly so. I'll tell you what, the young Raul Klauk, how do we say that name? Klaus. Well, it's so funny, but he's been going well. He had a really good heat this morning. I think he's finished 4th.
Yeah.
Which, that is his best result so far. Lucas Trindade, he has got some consistent results, actually. He had a bit of a problem on the start line, but he got redressed for that, and that's put him back in there. Pinheiro, obviously one to watch. He's going to be on the Black Point 7 sail. Christian Hackback, he's right up there and causing problems. The Grandmaster leader at the moment, Caroni, we're thinking he's Italian, but he looks Brazilian. We're not sure. Pedro as well has been holding it on with the big boys. He's back into windsurfing after a bit of a break, so good to see him. Jamilson as well, all the way from Jericoacoara. Well, I don't ever say that right, but he's a beast. He's got the speed. He just needs to make it round the jibe marks. That's what we saw earlier. Santos, we got Moggy in there. We got Juan Carlos. We got Plentz, and we got Lari. And here we go, lining up for the start. Wow, there's only one guy on that start line, and it's Mateusz Isaac. He hasn't looked back to see, is there something going on here? Because why am I so far ahead? We can see Pinheiro in 2nd place, Trindade in 3rd, and it looks like the young Raul Klaus is in 4th place, and then Plentz, the other youth. So the youths are having a real good battle in this one. Both riders in this first heat, and they look to take it to the big boys. And there we go. This is Mateusz Isaac getting a little bit loose on this first reach. This is just the semi-finals, so it's going to be a cruise for this man. Pinheiro as well, you'd expect him to cruise through. Trindade in 3rd. These are the guys who are sort of the main players. And then we've got the young man, Raul, who has been looking really good today. He looks better suited to these conditions, and Plentz as well. Even though he was in the B final, he did take that one home.
Matheus está voando na frente de novo, liderando tranquilo. Atrás dele vem Matias Pinheiro, Lucas Trindade, que teve algum problema ali na boia, deu uma escorregada, mas eu acho que retomou. Dá para ver que às vezes Matheus perde um pouco o controle, me parece que perde um pouco de controle da prancha. Não sei se o vento está forte ou com muitas rajadas. So Ben, they have some gusts over there, huh?
Yeah, some big gusts. We obviously got to switch around today with the onshore wind. And like I say, we're seeing different riders come to the front. But there is some big holes in it. Pinheiro just getting out of that mark pretty slowly. So the young boys are probably catching up. We got Raul Klauk already up into 2nd place and showing a good performance. Plentz just behind him. Trindade sandwiched in the middle. These guys will all be qualifying. Top 7 qualify for the final. So it makes, well, you just got to qualify for the final. You just want to get through nice and safely. But this man, Mateusz Isaac, just having a pretty much a warm-up for him this before his showdown on the Pele Tour in a couple of weeks' time over in New Caledonia, where he is going to be challenged to try and get inside that probably top 7. He's 9th at the moment, but he's looking in good form. Pinheiro, second place. Raul from Peru. Looks like the youth is turning on the speed on the last day. Could he challenge Plents for that youth title here at the South Americans? I know he won, I think, last year's maybe South American Championship. I have to check that, but I know he was up there.
But they both are building good results.
Yeah, I'd actually have to check the results right now because Raul Klaus has got 26 points and Plents, 25. So it is super close between the youths right now. Brazil versus Peru. 2 eliminations to go, and Raul looks like he suits these conditions a little bit better at the moment. He's had some, like I said, his best result with a 4th, and that is where all the points were gained. He really did.
Are so close right now?
Yeah,
he's
looking
in second
good.
place
He's
over Matias Pinheiro.
That's
super
a fight,
speed.
Isn't it? He's going well in these conditions. Maybe didn't like the offshore. Now, that's a really good qualification for the Peruvian. Trindade, he's going to qualify in 4th place. 5th place on the white ISO sail is going to be Plents. Say, nice to see a little change in conditions today. Mix it up. So Plents will cross the line and get into the winners' final. And we've got S2 Maui sails coming through. Is this
Christian
our
Hackbart?
friend Hackbart? I think it could be. Yep. No, it's not.
244.
244. We'll have a quick look down the list because I've got the S2.
Murilo Carioni.
Oh, he's changed his sail. He's confusing us. And Brazil 69, I think that's Pedro. Yeah, Pedro Lorenzo qualifying for another final.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there we go. That's the top 7 from the first heat joining in the final. We're going to do semi-final heat number 2 up next. Who's watching? Harris Marvis is watching. Come on, where you watching from? There's got to be a few people out there around the world tuning in. Obviously, we've been on a few channels. Did the Portuguese woohoo, yoo-hoo, woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Woohoo. We did that earlier. Unfortunately, it was bad timing for the way the heats worked out. There wasn't much action for the hour of live, which is a shame.
Right when the wind goes down.
Yeah, just as the wind dropped, and then I think it's come back up again. It's just typical, isn't it? I mean, anyone who's ever done a windsurfing event or tried to plan around windsurfing, they'll know exactly what that is like. Okay, a little bit of a replay. This is the start. You can see Mateus has a look over his shoulder to wonder what was happening there. But I think the guys are realising that this is just a qualifier. Don't need to risk too much. Just cruise home, top 7. And then in the final, that's when you've got to put the hammer down. That's when you've got to push a bit harder. But Mateus Isaac absolutely flying. You can just see that board's hardly in the water. Like I say, interesting to see different conditions today with the onshore wind taking hold. And interesting also to see how this place handles both directions of wind. I mean, it seems to do both pretty well. We had that swell coming through yesterday with a bit of the offshore, which was interesting.
Maybe Mateus is with the 8.6 or 7.0?
Well, maybe. I spoke to Alessio before he went out, and he was going on 7.7, which if that's the case, I can imagine Mateus would have taken the 8.6. I mean, he was on 8.6 all day yesterday. So he likes to go big. So just watching a replay of this first semi-final. Where all the action happens, though, is in the final. That's what we have to remember. We've got the semi-final heat number 2 should be coming up as well. 7 riders qualifying to the final. So it's quite a few riders, and I won't lie to you, after a brutal day yesterday, we have had a few sailors pull out. I mean, it was a long day on the water, and there was a few tired looking riders. A few of them may be out of practice because it was a long day, you know, offshore wind, so we had to sail quite far out to the start line. Then obviously you're sailing away from the shore, and then you've got a long go back up. So if you took the wrong sail, you were going to be battling, you know, with an 8-6 in probably 7-0 weather.
Come back
and
the beach,
you could see there was a few boys, the backs were looking a little bit tired, the legs were shot, the beers were going down slowly, let's put it that way. They weren't going down fast.
We're going to talk to Felipe Matos, who has... they broke all the mast bases the last day before. Yeah,
I spoke to him last night.
Oh, sorry, the foot mast. They broke all the 3 foot bases.
Yeah, the UJ, the universal joint.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was a strange one.
3.
It was like a detective program last night. We were trying to work out what happened. And we thought maybe what happened is the pin was not rotating.
Yeah.
Maybe there was too much sand in there, or that must have twisted it. Or he had his tack strap, you know, next to do the joint, the spinning joint, which was stopping it spinning, which could have been the case as well. But like I said, we were proper detectives last night. I don't think we got to the end of the case. That's the only problem. If you are just joining us, we're here at the IFCA, well, the ISO, we've got to say that because they are one of the main sponsors of this event. IFCA South American Championships. We've got all the South American countries can enter this event, but obviously the main country is Brazil. They've got most of them, as we are in Brazil, and I think we're lining up now for the next start. There's a few people a bit early, but Alessio Botteri, he was early, but he manages to hold back just before the start. So Alessio with the best start. Who else we got in this? We can have the Shermanator on the Neil Pride as well. I expect to see him up there, looking at about second place at the moment. And then who else have we got? I'm just going to quickly go to my list. Ricardo Conji, Calango, as he's known, the Lizard. He's going to be on the Neil Pride.
He's in 3rd.
Yeah, he's looking like he's going all right.
Yeah.
But Alessio Botteri rounding first. 7-7 he's on. And he is having a real fight with the Shermanator in second. Not just in this semi-final, remember. We're talking about in the overalls. There's 1 point, I think, separating those guys. And then the final this morning, you know, they were fighting all the way around. So there's a real battle between these two. It's interesting. I like it. The Shermanator, he's not the biggest of slalom riders. I mean, he's probably better known for his course racing in the past. He's been a world champ before. Obviously, used to do the PWA. He's now took a bit of a break, but he's loving the slalom. He's getting back into it, and these two are having a real battle. Alessio won the South American Championships last year in 2018. So he knows how to race, but he's coming back from a knee injury, which he did wave sailing in Pacasmayo. So that's been, he said he's had a long recovery, so he's not quite on his fitness game at the moment.
Last year, Sherman wins a event of Brazilian Slalom Championship over Matheus Isaac. He's super fast.
Yeah. I mean, and he's not a big fella.
No.
I keep saying it, but I'd love to see weight categories come back because I'm a big fan of seeing small guys go fast because I'm a small guy and I want to know what they do different. You know, when you watch people like Antoine Albo, Matteo Iachino, they're massive. So I can't relate to them as much as I could probably relate to the Shermanator. I could go check his gear out and probably learn something or learn more from him than I could from some of the big guys. And I think that's kind of an interesting point. I know when I've mentioned that before, a lot of people have said, oh, it's not just weight, it's height and leverage, which I totally agree. But there has to be some way of difference, because how do you go against Albo, Matteo Iachino, and Pierre Mortefon when you're as big as the Sherman?
Yeah. It's a challenge.
Yeah, but it's
an
unfair challenge. Do you not think? It's like totally boxing. Unfair. It's like going a lightweight against a heavyweight. Yeah. They don't do that because it's not fair. But that's how it is. I mean, especially with the Olympic class coming in, you know, it's going to, you know, before the lightweights did Olympic stuff and the heavyweights did PWA. Now, It's going to be fun to see how that goes. And there we go. Alessio Botteri will make the final pretty easy. The Sherman in second. He's going to want that to happen in the final, that's for sure. Alessio needs to get some points between those two if he's going to take the second place, because they are fighting for second place, it has to be said right now, with Matthias Isaac absolutely dominating. There he is, Calango.
This is the lizard man.
He's the Grandmaster, and he's turning on. He looks better in these conditions, actually. He looks up for it in the onshore. Maybe, well, he's got a nemesis right now, hasn't he? Because well, as we're calling him, the Italian, Caroni is already in the final. He finished 6th, so he only scraped in the final. Calango looking good. This could be the turning point in the Grandmasters. He's got a few points to catch up. I'm just going to have a look down the list. Let's have a look. It's getting closer. There is 4 points the difference. So that Grandmasters title is not over yet.
No.
It's going to be between Murillo Caroni and Calango. I'm sure of it.
Murillo Carioni and Ricardo
Congi.
Yeah, the Calango.
The Calango.
So, talking about the weight, I think
dropped,
Wilhelm has this background in Formula. He used it to race against big guys like Antoine Albo, I think. I asked him if he has some options, different with sails or fins. He used the same equipment probably all the time, just one size less, but I think the challenge is huge for guys who is in lightweight, for guys like big and.
I mean, I'm a racing fan, and I love racing. But what put me off is, you know, like you want to have a fair fight.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go into a fight against a guy twice my size. I like the challenge in slalom, but I think it would be interesting to have some sort of lightweight competition and a heavyweight competition, because I would really honestly follow the lightweight competition. You know, Tay Franz was below 80 kilos, but he had to bump himself up, and he bumped himself up pretty nicely. I think he was near 90 now. But, I mean, he was 78 kilos when he was doing freestyle. He probably could be that weight. And if there was a lightweight slalom, I would be putting money on him to be really challenging.
Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, and this is kind of an interesting fact. So, I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear other people's comments, but the wind has really just dropped, hasn't it? We should have the women's
drop. You see, big boards, big sails,
Was that
we have a man fell down the mark.
That was
still
a start
there?
or not?
No.
Wow. It really has dropped. This is Pazzalo.
Yeah.
It's a shame, isn't it? This morning when it came in windy. The sun was out. I was thinking we were going to be cruising. There's a few replays of one of the previous heats. Pazzalo, he's got some good numbers. The PWA boys could learn from his numbers. Yes. I mean, I can see them. They're pretty clear. They're big enough, that's for sure. That's what we like to see. If you are just joining us, like I say, we're at the Isso Ifca South American Slalom Championships. It's the final day today. I would say the 2 titles are already done. I mean, Salazar from Venezuela, she has just thrown the hammer down and just destroyed the field. I mean, she has been in really good form. Bruna has definitely stepped up in second place. And maybe Maria's going to take that third place. But maybe challenge today from Prada. We'll have to wait and see and look at those results. But in the men, Matthias Isaac obviously dominating here, looking really good. But there's a very big battle for second place between the man from Peru, Alessio Botteri, and the Shermanator, who's pretty much lived down the road most of his life when he's not been living on a boat.
Yeah, he's always in the boat with the family, and now they're here in Santa Catarina, just fixing the boat and tuning up. We have a sequence for the next heat.
Okay, so sequence for the women's final, I guess. Are we going to see another dominant performance by Salazar? We'll have to wait and see. You wouldn't bet against it though, the way she's been doing it. She has been absolutely flying. Just having a look, we've done 6 eliminations and she's discarding 2 first places.
Wow.
Not a bad couple of discards there. You know, she doesn't have to go out for the next 2 eliminations and she will be counting first places all the way. And it looks like Bazo is actually not been out there today, not competed. No. So I don't know what's happened there.
She has a sail problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the equipment.
Okay, so damage in the shore break because there was some pretty big shore break. So Giovanna Prada has stepped up into 3rd place, the youth. So she, moving on to the podium. Bruno Mello looking solid in 2nd place. So I think we could almost wrap up those results already. So this one might be like a little bit of a victory lap, so to speak, for the Venezuelan. Salazar.
Who's your bet between Shermanator and Bolteri?
I've got to say, I'm going to have to go with the experience. The Shermanator, after that first race, I watched it. Alessio was faster, but he couldn't get past the Shermanator. I mean, Wilhelm Sherman just knew what to do. He always had that extra bit on the jibe, and that extra bit is hard to get back. When you're faster, you gain it, but unless you can get your overlap, you can get inside, it doesn't make any difference because that guy is going to throw in a good jibe. He's going to accelerate out of it, and then you've lost another 5 meters. Yep. And then you have to find those 5 meters again. So there we go.
The start of them.
It looks like Salazar's not even gone out there. Okay, so we're just listening to something on the radio, trying to work out exactly what's happening. But Bruna, I mean, pretty much the girls have dropped like flies. Yeah. There's literally, we are not seeing Salazar. Maybe she just thinks, well, I've done enough already. I've won every race. I'll take a couple of discards and I'll go and cruise, crack open a Corona, start celebrating early.
Eating a pastel.
Yeah,
she's eating a pastel and drinking a Corona.
We're in Brazil. Why not? So Bruna, we're looking like she might get a win on her score sheet.
Maybe she's trying the same pastel that you ate last day.
Maybe it was good. Is there anything else I'm going to experience here in Brazil?
Yeah.
What else am I missing from the Brazilian experience?
Oh, the barbecue, man.
The Brazilian barbecue.
It's amazing.
I've heard about Brazilian barbecue. Okay, so they're just, they're just at the moment seeing how the races does for the women, because they have said it's gone a bit on the light side, 10 to 13 knots or something like that. So, I mean, it looks pretty solid.
Yeah.
If the boys take the big stuff, I think it's going to be easily enough to race. But
Bruno's alone.
Yeah. I mean, she literally is alone. This is. I think there's 2 riders out there. I think Prada is out there as well, but Salazar is a no-show unless she's going to just give him a head start and then go for it. I don't think so. Because maybe she's just like, well, done it. Boom. I mean, looking on our wind meter, we've got 13 knots coming through, which seems about right. I would say that sounds about fair. This last reach does seem to be the lightest reach out of all of them. As you come down to the bottom, the wind sort of hits the land and goes a bit funky. So this is Bruna. Looks like she's going to win the 7th elimination. So it sounds like they're going to send the guys out and see how it's looking, basically. I mean, we've had a lot of races, so I think most people would be happy with the result we've got. But the youths, I'm pretty sure we might see Mr. Raul Klaas looking for another result. He's 2 points or a couple of points off. The Grandmasters also. I'm sure the Calango is going to be...
Probably the Calango, but
he's going to be looking for another result. He wants that result because if he can gain a few points on Caroni, he could take home that title. And this is where it gets light. You can see Bruna around that last jibe mark. Man. It's really light, isn't it?
It's super light.
It's not going to be enough to race, I don't think. I mean, whether this will count, I don't know.
Yeah, the forecast for today is the south, like in the beginning, super strong, and then drop down.
Okay.
All the day, so
pretty much what's happened.
Probably did.
Yeah, we had that boost of the southerly. Yeah, that's gone, hasn't it? It really doesn't look good. I'm not even sure, like I say, this race will count. It probably won't matter looking at the results. The results will not change. But you can see an RSX background for Bruna.
Yeah,
you can see that pumping, pumping style. She knows how to do it. The guys are going out.
Guys going out, planning.
Yeah. I mean, if they take their big stuff.
Big stuff, yeah. Looking Bruna how pumping.
The equipment these days really does just go in literally nothing. So just looking at the results coming through. Yeah, we've had 5 eliminations, is that right?
Yeah, 5 eliminations.
Yeah, and this is the final of the 6th one for the men. Okay. So, yeah, just to give you an idea of the points, Mateusz Isaac, 2.1 points. Sherman on 6. Bottery on 7. What's the discards like? A third and a fourth, and a third and a fourth is exactly the same. So what will happen here is basically Alessio will probably need to win.
Yeah. He has
Mateusz second and Schumann, because otherwise they're, if they finish, I suppose if they finish second, then he will take a third. It's only 1 point, then they would be equal. In fact, if Alessio gets second, let's say in the final, he would finish, and then Sherman gets third. It would finish on equal points, but Alessio would win on the last race sailed, I think. Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see.
But you have a battle between the Lucas Trindade and Jamilson.
Yeah. Yeah, 1 point the difference between Trindade and Jamilson. You're right.
You have the top 10 in between Ricardo Conde and Pedro Loureiro. They have 22 points.
Yeah, and there's always a fight for that top 10, but you can see Plents and Clout there, 1 point the difference. They want it to happen. They're both in the final, and that will be something I'd love to see, because that would just finish it. They finish on one race together. Yeah. Whoever beats who will take that youth title.
So
Plents is in the lead, so he's
the big
thinking,
gear, man.
Go big, go big,
go big,
go big or go home. The Grandmasters title, 4 points in it.
There,
It's huge, isn't it? I don't see it happening. I think we might be done for the day. That's a shame. I mean, we've had some good win this morning, though. That was proper cranking. Really good to see. But it looks like we might be, I think we might be done. The forecast, as we were just saying, was to drop off throughout the day. The local forecast. I mean, I've got a very loose, non-local forecast. What does that say? Well, that actually says it's going to pick up, but that's for not even here. That's for Florianopolis, so it's a different forecast.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what local forecast you'd use here.
Windiguru, Palhoça.
Okay. We're going to have a look at the local. Just checking out the local forecast.
Yeah.
Okay, can't find it.
I have here.
Winguru don't want to show me. It's like a secret one that maybe only the locals use. You know, we're banned. Well, my computer's banned anyway. So we're not going to look at that just yet. If you are just joining us, we might be out. Okay. Yeah, well. But this looks like it could pick up. Wind readings. 9 to 10 knots. So 9 to 10 knots. That ain't enough, is it, really?
No.
For what the boys have got here. They haven't got the 9.0s. No one really uses 9.5s or anything like that. It's a kind of an 8.6 country. That's your big sail, isn't it?
Yeah,
yeah
8.6.
Most people. 8.6. I was told in the north, the most common slalom sails are 7.0, 7.8, and down here in the south it's 7.8, 8.6. That's kind of your two go-to slalom sails. If you want to just buy a couple, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You're going to get the odd day, which is a bit fruity or a bit light, but most of the time those sails will cover you.
If you see the forecast, it shows like 16, 18, and then drops to 7.
Yeah. So we might have just got that through early. We might have had that wind a little bit earlier than Winguru's predicted, and now we've got that drop. So we're going to try and start it so we're hearing, but it's not looking hopeful for the last elimination. And there's a couple of boys who want this to happen. There's definitely a couple of boys who want this to happen. We'll wait to hear. We're going to try and start it so we're hearing, but I'm definitely on. Okay, so we are still waiting to hear what exactly is going on. I'm going to just...
replay da última bateria.
Raul Claus.
How close?
He's looking 1 point. He's thinking 1 point. 1 point. I could have the South American youth title. And Plants is sitting there going, 1 point. Maybe we don't need to race. It's a bit light.
He's praying to not...
Oh.
To the win.
Okay, so the postponement's just gone up on the boat, and I just have that feeling, don't you? That sinking feeling that we could be done. Just as the camera boys just bring in great smelling food.
Perhaps Sherman wants to no race for today.
Yeah, I mean, one more race. I mean, look at that now.
Yeah,
that looks windy.
It's Bruno.
Yeah, Bruno's cruising.
Yeah,
it's not over.
No.
It's definitely not over. That battle definitely for second is on. Alessio versus Wilhelm Sherman going against Bottery. Peru versus Brazil. The Master versus the men. So the Masters champ, I mean, Shermanator will be the Masters champion. But as I spoke to him before, he said, if there's a separate fleet for Masters, I'm not entering. I'm entering the men. I want to gauge myself against Matthias Isaac. You know, that's what I've come here to do. He doesn't...
Matthew's the target. Everybody wants to.
Yeah, you need a target, don't you? You know, and people who come into a fleet and they just enter a fleet just to win it, that's not the right attitude. You've got to set your sights higher, and that is why the Shermanator has been a champion before, because he's never happy. You know, he doesn't want to cruise to a victory. No. He wants to fight, and he wants to have something to aim for. And I think that's pretty solid. I was actually listening to that new Robbie Nash movie. I don't know if you saw the trailer for that. No. And there's a bit about Robbie Nash saying he's always all his life he's had these targets to aim for, and now he's got no target. He's got nothing. So he set himself, I think, it's a bit cheesy, I have to say, but he set himself this longest wave thing. But I thought it seemed quite well done. I think it could be an interesting bit. I'd like to see Robbie Nash do a bit of a youth program. I mean, he's took a lot out the sport. He's made his name from the sport. Be nice to see him do something with the juniors and the youths and have a Nash youth program. Windsurfing, I'm talking about. I mean, he always does all the other sports to make the money, but maybe just throw something back in. Bit of youth program would be good.
But he has a lot of young guys in wave sailing all the time, like since Kailani and those young guns right now riding by
Yeah, it's
Nash.
been a while though
Nash.
since he's really. I don't think he's got any young person's gear. I'm pretty
No.
sure. You know, like you see Severn. You know, they've
Yeah.
got a lot of
Mhm.
Goya have been pushing. Goya's been pushing quite hard on that junior stuff, and I really see it. You know, when I go to Pozo or something like this in Europe, you see those young guys just killing it on the gear, and that gear. You know, you can probably remember when you started windsurfing. What age were you?
13.
13.
No.
Okay, so quite old. Like
Yeah.
I was 9, and I remember the gear thinking, "This is big old gear." You know, the boom was massive, the mast was huge, and you look at what the guys are on now. They've got little skinny masts, like skinnier than the skinny
Super
mast.
light.
Little light booms. You know, sails made of just the and. It's going to be a difference. You know, when you're weighing 40 kilos or something like this, you shouldn't use the same board as a guy
Yeah.
who's 80 kilos or, you know, the same
For sure.
rig. So
Mhm.
I think it's good that the brands are definitely supporting that youth push, which is good. If you are just joining us, we've got a bit of a light patch going on. We're trying to finish elimination 6 for the men, the masters, the Grand Masters. And although there's wind out the back, on the inside you can see Bruna was
There's
really
no
struggling
wind,
to go.
man.
No. I think we might have been seeing a replay.
Yeah, there's no wind.
Because
There's no wind.
we've just looked outside
No wind.
and no one is moving.
No.
So maybe we've been cheated.
Yeah.
We're sitting here going, it looks great. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Come on, let's get it on. It's not happening. It is not happening.
Amazing.
So, okay, well, we'll have to sit and wait, but we'll wait for the guys probably to call it off. I have a feeling this will be not going all the way. And maybe they're going to take equal results from that last final. So I think that's probably what it'll be. So still waiting for actual words. There we go. That's the real scenes that we're seeing.
Yeah.
That's the
no
live
wind.
view, and it's looking pretty terminal. It's not looking good.
And through the camera, it looks like we have some wind, but looking
No.
from here, you see it's
Yeah,
almost glassy.
Yeah,
like.
it doesn't look good. We're not going to get excited about that, are we? I think we're coming to the end of the South American Slalom Championships.
So what are you looking at, man?
It's a good question. I'm just looking at the overalls actually in the Pedal A. Just looking what Matthias Isaac would have to do to gain up into the top lot. He's on 8,000. There's a
good fight over here.
Yeah, I mean there's a massive fight for the world title between Pierre Mortefon, Matteo Iachino. I mean Albo probably still in it, but maybe not. I think the other boys are gonna maybe get it this year. I'm interested to see how far Antoine's going to go. I mean, he's still capable, don't get me wrong, but how do you keep that motivation for so long? How do you keep that fire burning to go and take on the young guys? You know, they're hungry. Oh, there we go, Plents. Maybe Plents shouldn't be playing in right now. Okay, I think we're gonna put a thing on the screen, like a postponement. Maybe if we could put that on, and we're gonna take a little break, I think. And as soon as we get some action, we are gonna be coming right back to try and finish this final in the men's category. So don't stay tuned too much because I can't see much at it, but you never know. But we'll be back as soon as there's enough wind to do that final. You can see the odd gust coming through, but at the moment it's not happening.